Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this lovely, well, it's kind of lovely. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Friday morning. I hope you have some great plans for the weekend. The weather looks to be meh. Okay, it's been a crazy summer for the weather. So let me get this set up. Still switching to Zoom. So to do my live so I can see what you guys are, so I can give you comments. So that's why, let me shut this off. That's why there's been some technical difficulties to start. There we go. So now I should be able to see your comments. Okay, so this week we're talking about, are you and your dog connected, part 2. Last week I talked about puppies, what connection, how to start building connection with puppies and how to use the connection that they already are giving you. Good morning, Sylvie and Mega. How are you this morning? Feel free to say hello and tell me something lovely about your dogs. What's your favorite thing about your dogs? Okay, so a connected dog walks well on leash. A connected dog comes when called. A connected dog can listen and do what you ask because part of their brain is attached to you. Good morning, Dorothy. How are you and Billy doing this morning? This live is for the handlers who are finding this to be a challenge, and a lot of handlers. When I watch the videos sent in to me by my clients, I see them getting stuck in situations where the dog's completely disconnected and they're working so hard to get connected. But the more they try to get connected, the more the dog's like, talks to the paw. I'm busy focusing on that. So this live is for those people who have dogs that pull like trucks, a dog that lunges as people approach, or maybe as cars approach, a dog that in some environments is incapable of listening to you. Oh, good to hear, Dorothy. Thank you for letting me know walking's improving. Awesome. You've tried various anti-pulling devices, but your dog is still uncontrollable. I hear this all the time. I have tried so many anti-pulling devices. I have a closet full of them, and my dog still pulls on leash. You've tried treats, you've tried corrections. You want to take your dog out, but holding on to them is killing you. Between the stress of what could happen and the physical pain of holding on to the leash, it's exhausting. And sooner or later, you're worried something bad will happen, like your dog will jump on someone, or if they're reactive, attack someone. So it's very stressful. It doesn't have to be like this. This is fixable. Like with any problem, I would start with using my MAP problem-solving strategy. M stands for management. You got to stop letting your dog do what he's doing. And this sounds so easy, but yet it's what people do. People constantly say, my dog pulls like a truck when I walk him every day. You got to stop walking him every day. Stop putting him in situations where he's going to pull and lunge. Stop setting up you and your dog for failure, because failure is just practicing what you're trying to fix and not getting you any closer to what you want. And this is why you can't fix it. A note about walking your dog. We have been conditioned that good dog parents take their dogs for a walk every day. The confusion on what that should look like has created a lot of these pulling reactivity problems. I had the exact same problem with my first dog. Every night, 3 times a day, actually, every day I would take him for a walk and we would walk down the street. He'd be on a flexi and I would let him. I didn't understand what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to allow, what I wasn't supposed to allow. I didn't want him to pull, but I wanted to allow him to be a dog, to sniff, and that's why I had him on a flexi. His off leash wasn't great, so I didn't take him off leash as much as I could have. And I didn't have a fenced backyard at the time, so that was not an option either. So now I've discovered there's actually 2 different types of walking. And when you start differentiating them, and now I figure how I could have done that, then your dog clearly understands what's expected in one type of walking, which is called a decompression walk. And the other type of walking, which I need a cool name for. So if somebody has one, let me know. But it's the regular walking down the street where your dog's just walking along with you. A decompression walk is where your dog gets to be a dog, to sniff, to run, to just be a dog with very few rules. Obviously, they can't leave. But other than that, do whatever you want. This can be either on or off leash, depending on the situation and depending on the dog. On a regular walk, I want my dog to understand nothing is available. So here's the problem. If you teach your dog on a regular walk that everything's available, you're allowed to go sniff, you're allowed to go pee, blah, blah, blah. Your dog feels everything's available, so he learns to pull, which is what most people don't want. On a regular walk, I want my dog to walk down the street and ignore people, dogs, smells, garbage, food on the ground, anything. The bunny across the street, anything and everything. The confusion comes when you sometimes let your dog pull to something and then sometimes you don't. For example, you are walking down the street and your dog pulls to his favorite tree to check his pee nail. You let him because you want your dog to have freedom and he's got to go pee, right? But what about when your dog tries to pull you across the street to another favorite tree or to a neighbor he loves? This is where we try and stop the dog by holding him back. Maybe while the cars go by, but then eventually we let him go to the tree because you feel bad. He should get to go to his tree, right? Teaching your dog to keep pulling, the more you push, the quicker your human, the more you pull, the quicker your human will let you get to there eventually. Your dog doesn't understand the difference that sometimes it's available and sometimes you'd not. You would like it not to be. If you were really good about, for example, when I walk my dogs on a regular walk, I'm walking along, nothing's available. If I want to let them go to the bathroom, I release them with a go pee, and then I walk over to a tree and I let them do whatever they want to for a minute or two. And then I'm like, okay, we're going. And then we keep walking. So it's very clear when it's available, when it's not. But if you let your dog make that choice, it's very unclear. The more you hold your dog back, the harder your dog fights to get there. In actuality, we are actually making the tree more valuable because when I want to rev my dog in agility, I hold him back and I'm like, ready, 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 go. And that's what we do with the tree. We hold them back, we hold them back, we hold them back, and then we're like, fine, go. And that's building more value for the tree and more value for pulling. So do you understand how this is creating a problem? Good morning, Barb. How are you this morning? How is the lovely little Poppy? Okay. So I did a live talking more about walks versus decompression walks, and I will post that link in the show notes because I want to talk about building connection in this live. So I don't want to go too far down the walking path. So back to building connection and the management part of our problem solving map. For this to work, you have to find some other way to bathroom and exercise your dog for the immediate future. This could be driving to a field or just letting them play in the backyard. Ideally, this is going to be for a limited amount of time while you make some connections with your dog, and then you'll go back to walking. It's not forever, but if you have a good sized backyard or you have some other way to exercise your dog, there's lots of pseudo fenced in places I use to give dogs exercise that need it, such as ball diamonds or tennis courts, hockey rinks. Out here where I live, the hockey rinks get put up and left up all year, so they're a great place to exercise your dog. Okay, next step is the A in the map, creating an alternative behavior. The alternative behavior is the connection to you. Connection to you means the relinquishing of the environment. This is accomplished with the ODR game. Remember, the ODR stands for observe, don't react. The ODR game, just like with the puppies, is the answer to how to get connection. The ODR game teaches your dog how to give you voluntary attention. To find out more about my ODR game, which stands for observe, don't react, I will post the link to the ODR game, live in the show notes. Okay, so what we're looking for here is voluntary attention. And that's what I want to focus on today. And I have some videos for you at the end where I show you dogs working through this. The voluntary attention is your key to the kingdom. When the dog chooses to let go of the environment and pay attention to you. I can see you shaking your head and going, my dog will never pay attention to me when there's dogs around, or when there's ducks flying, or when there's a cat, or when there's whatever. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of dogs just like yours, and it always works. You just got to do the steps. Sure, with some it's a longer journey than with others, but it always works. So how do you get to this magical voluntary attention? Stop moving. I work with a number of dogs at all levels of training, and lately what I keep coming back to is everybody wants to move, to walk, and nobody is standing still. Everyone wants to be actively doing something. Staying in one spot and giving your dog gives your dog time to acclimatize to the environment, to get comfortable, to make sure it's safe, to check out what they need to check out. The more you try to stop them, the more they argue the point. They need to acclimatize to be able to give you the attention you so desperately want. The super interesting part is the more you give them this freedom, the more they will give you attention, and the less you have to give them those moments at the beginning. So when I start training a dog, I always give them that time. But I find the more you train, the more you work, you give them the time, but they don't need it. They're like, it's okay, I'm good. We're good to go. This is hard for the human. Trusting your dog is a big step. Having faith that your dog does want to work with you and just needs a minute is a leap of faith, because we get into, well, the dog would rather look at the cat, or the dog would rather play with those dogs. We're always giving them excuses why they don't need to listen. Start somewhere easy. Easy is different for every dog. For some, easy might have to be a small bathroom with nothing in it, where you're going to stand there on leash and wait till they're like, hey, look at you up there. But for a lot of dogs, it could be an empty parking lot or a front porch. Set up for the ODR game. Leash hand anchored to your body, high value treats in the other hand, and watch your dog. With no real distractions, the dog will probably look around. Some dogs will bounce around and hit the end of the leash, and that's fine. You do nothing. You just stand there and be like, whatever. If your dog commits to a direction, meaning he pulls towards something, take a step in the opposite direction, keeping your leash hand on your body. You're looking to always maintain a loose leash. Or you're looking for the dog to always maintain a loose leash. This will cause the leash to get tighter, making it more uncomfortable for your dog to continue the pulling, helping him make the choice to give up on that distraction. Again, this should be done in a very low distraction environment. We want to give our dog lots of success so they can learn the game, and it will build your understanding of the game when they're having lots of success. It may take a while, or it may take seconds. When your dog glances at you, take a step backward and reward. So your dog's looking around, and again, I'll have videos at the end where we're actually going to go through this, and your dog all of a sudden will be like, hey, I looked at you. You're going to take a step back and reward. You don't want to just give them a cookie. You want to take a step back and reward. At first, just a glance is all you are looking for to start to interact with your dog. When you reward the glance, it will grow to a look. If you wait for the look at the beginning, it might never happen. So if they literally just fly by you, you're like, okay, I'll take a step back. If they can't connect, no big deal. It's their choice. But if you've been there for 10 minutes and they still can't connect, you may look for a less distracting environment for your next try at this. What you don't want to do is end up frustrated, because the longer your dog doesn't look at you, the more frustrated you'll become, even though sometimes it's just what you got to do. Acknowledge the glance by stepping backwards, which is the cue for the dog to follow, and therefore a rewardable behavior. I don't like just feeding the dog. I find that doesn't build the connection. You have to engage the dog. When you step back, they step forward, you reward. As soon as you reward, you give your release cue and disengage by turning away from your dog. The release and turn away is important, because I don't want my dog to choose to walk away from me. I want you to end the opportunity to earn reinforcement and give your dog the opportunity to search it out. It sets the psyche you want. You are saying to the dog, I am done with you, bye-bye. Instead of the dog saying to you, thanks for the cookie, I'm leaving. So you're leaving your dog instead of your dog leaving you. It's a psych. It's a mindset. Now your dog has two choices. He can search you out, which you will reward by taking another step back and rewarding, That's awesome. Your dog has just chosen. He said, I'm done with the environment. I'm looking for you. That's awesome. Or he will go back to the environment, which is perfectly fine. He is not ready to relinquish it yet. Repeat this until when you release your dog and walk away, he follows you. And by walk away, I go 1 or 2 steps. I'm not going 10 feet. At this point, he is voluntarily choosing you over the environment. Remember, this is the goal, voluntary attention. This is the foot in the door to all training from here on forward. He is asking you to work, and that means he's releasing the environment. I want you to understand how important this little step is. I don't care if you're in the middle of nothing. Your dog says, hey, I want to pay attention to you. That's awesome. I've done this in my agility field with dogs who 10 minutes and the dog still won't look at their owner. No animals running around, nothing happening. You know, there's birds in the trees, but nothing they can see. And the dog's still like, nope, nope, I don't look, I don't look, I don't look. The voluntary attention is your key. By the way, this may take 5 minutes or it may take multiple sessions. You have to be patient and have faith it will work. And it always works. You may have to make the environment easier, but it will always work. The quieter the environment, the quicker it will work, and start creating the habit of working with you for your dog. So for those of you whose dogs work great inside the house and not great outside the house, so that means in the house, you have that voluntary attention. And I don't care if he knows you have food. That's irrelevant right now. All I care about is the dog is willing to interact with you, to connect with you. So for those who can do it in the house, but not out of the house, I would do it. Okay, we work in the house and then maybe step out onto your deck. Can you work here? Just keep switching back and forth. Remember how to be connected? Okay, let's see if you can do it here. Back and forth till they're like, oh, I can be connected in the backyard. Look at that. It can be hard to know what's the perfect level of distraction for your dog, building their confidence while progressing the training. Choosing the right environment is one of the first steps I address with my private clients, because the wrong environment is going to get you super frustrated and your dog. In our Canine Reset program, if you would like a consultation and receive a tailor-made training plan for you and your dog, contact me. The rest of the summer schedule is starting to fill up quickly, so don't wait. If you want to do this, don't wait. Most people work their dog too long. Keep your sessions short. The ability of your dog to do this will come and go in waves. They're there and then they're gone, and they're there and then they're gone, regardless of the environment. They will connect and work. Everything is going really well, and then they completely disconnect again. Totally normal. It happens because there are always many variables at play. One of them is their mental capacity. I can stay connected. It's taking a lot of brain cells. Okay, I got to disconnect too much. It's like when I write my live or stuff like that, I can probably work for an hour and then I start to check Facebook a lot. So I know I got to get up, walk around, go do something else, and then come back and work. The dog's the same way. When you start, it might be 30 seconds. When I started training Wicca, I had the timer set to 30 seconds to a minute. She'd come out of her crate, work, and go back away, 30 seconds to a minute max, because any more than that, and she'd go, la la. So you work with what your dog has. That grows quickly. But at first, and anytime I start having connection issues with her, I start paying attention to my time and bringing it back down. This happens because there are always many variables at play. Things can be affecting your dog that we can't control and can't see, like hormones, or they're tired, or they're hungry, or whatever, they're hot. Keeping your time short helps the overall connection, because you're setting the psych. You come out, you play with me, you go back away. They never get a chance to go, oh, what's over there? Where if you work too long and they go, oh, what's over there? They're learning that's part of the exercise. Once your dog is searching you out after being released, start making the connection longer. We need to create a longer connection, because that will transfer to real work, like heeling down the street or doing agility. This is why just giving them a cookie and not asking for anything doesn't create connection. It doesn't really engage the brain. The longer the engagement, the harder the skills is what forces them to engage their brain to do what you're asking. When the brain is engaged, the dog is thinking and no longer reacting. Always remember that. You want a thinking dog, not a reacting dog. When you are getting that voluntary reconnection, extend the connection by repeating the exercise. Dog looks at you, take a step back, reward, take another step back, reward, take another step back, reward, now release. Does he follow you or does he disconnect? Was that all he could do? Or did he disconnect after the second step? Great, then you go back to single one, step back once, reward, release, till he searches you out like 4 or 5 times, and then you try 2 again. You're always playing where I can do this line, and then you try to go past it, and if he fails, you go below it, and then you keep playing that line till he gets it. At any time when I'm playing this, if the dog disconnects, there's no correction, there is nothing. I have management tools in place so he can't, I'll have a leash on. But that's fine. Dog disconnects, I disconnect and go ahead, do whatever you need to do. It's a mindset thing. I want the dog to feel he always has the choice. But I also am working towards the dog understanding how to focus on me for extended periods of time. So I'm building that by setting that psych. That is why I want to control the end of the behavior with the release. Setting the psych of you work until I release you. So for the next few reps, you go back to singles before trying multiples again. Remember, voluntary attention, be patient. Yes, you can call your dog and force it, but then you're not getting the voluntary attention. That is the whole point of this exercise. We aren't just fixing a behavior problem. We are teaching our dog skills to last a lifetime. Here we enter the third letter of MAP, my problem-solving strategy MAP. P stands for practice. Once you have multiple steps backwards that your dog can stay connected, the next step is proofing. Asking your dog questions on connection. Start by increasing the difficulty of the backing up exercise. You can do this by adding more steps between rewards or adding 90-degree turns. Interesting enough, for some dogs, if you keep backing up straight, they'll disconnect. But if you constantly turn, they'll stay connected because it's more work to follow you on a turn than to follow you straight. Watch your rate of success and keep it high. 80% success will build the drive and confidence you want. Too much failure and you and your dog will get frustrated and not build enough value for the next step. No failure and you will not progress. You can then change the level of the distraction. How this looks will depend on what sets your dog off. With my Siberian Husky, we started in an empty parking lot at a local supermarket. When we started, I would go at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning before the store opened. This gave us the opportunity to work a new environment, but with no people or cars. Every few sessions, I would change to a later time, increasing the car and people traffic. Still working through the exact same sequence. I did the exact same thing, so he had that repetition, that routine. When adding distractions, you want to lower your criteria, meaning when distractions goes up, the exercise gets easier. When you increase the distractions, the brain is going to have to work really hard to focus again. If you make it too hard and the dog gets frustrated, basically he will say screw it and not bother to try to focus. Remember, it's all about setting that psych. So if it gets too hard every time, so you're trying to get him to sit with other dogs around and you're like, sit, sit, sit. And he's like, whatever, you're never going to be happy with what I do. So I'm just going to watch the dogs. If instead you work something like this, voluntary attention, just a glance, and you reward that, he's like, oh, okay. The dog will start working and shifting his focus to you. As your dog gets comfortable with ODR and voluntary attention, ODR has to become part of everyday life. Teaching your dog that this isn't just a stupid pet trick. This is how we play from now on. Every time you get out of the car, work ODR. Wait for voluntary attention before stepping away from the car. If you don't, your dog gets out of the car pulling and already totally immersed in the environment. Nothing scarier than a dog who has gotten away from an owner in a parking lot. And it's really hard for him not to pull on leash when he's all about what's coming. Before you let your dog off leash for a run, hold the collar, wait for voluntary attention. Another step in your dog learning that giving you voluntary attention gets him what he wants, which is freedom to go run. On a walk, on or off leash, regularly stop, wait for voluntary attention, and then work a couple of skills. This is what I do on my off-leash walks. I pick a skill and I work it, like we work spins, now we work stands, and I work it till my dog's pretty consistent at it, and then I put it in other locations, but it allows me to create connection on our off-leash walks and build some skill that I'm working on. Constantly putting value into working with you, maintaining walking on a loose leash and coming when called. So on leash, I will walk, and when they're walking nice, at any time I might stop and play ODR. When they look at me, I back up, I call their names. So we work on coming and we work on collar grabs and all the stuff I can do on leash. The more you insert this into everyday life, the more your dog will just do it until it becomes not just easy, but built into your daily routines with your dog. So now I'm going to show you some videos and I'll talk you through them and tell you what's going on. So the first dog is Nanook. Nanook is an Alaskan Klee that I got in for board and training. Her owner was having a really hard time with no recall, and the dog was barking at her owner, jumping on her owner, and pulling like a truck for a little 16-pound dog. In this video, this is the first time I have her out in public. I've had her 2 days and I really have no idea what's going to happen. She did great. So hold on, let's try that again. There it is. Okay, so we've just gotten out of the car. And I rewarded her. I had her by the collar and rewarded her right away, creating that connection right out of the car. Now I'm playing ODR and you see she's just pulling. And I'm standing there. Oh, let me move this. Standing there waiting for her to connect. If she pulls in no particular direction, like if she's all over the place like she is, I stand perfectly still. But if she pulls in one direction and maintains it, I'll take a step back. When she's calmly looking at the environment, remember, this is the very first time I'm working with this dog, I rewarded her for being able to look at her environment on a loose leash. I rewarded her, took a step back, and then released her out, and she right away went back to the environment. But she's super food driven. So then she's like, hey, look at you up there. If she chooses to stay connected, I did a couple of backing up. I might have asked her to sit in there and then back to releasing and let her have the environment. With some dogs, once they're good at looking at the environment, I no longer reward the environment. But with her, because I just gotten it, I had no idea what she reacts to, I am still rewarding looking calmly at the environment. Now she's like, who cares about the stuff going on around me? I'd rather have your cookies. And yes, she knows I have cookies without a doubt, but it's irrelevant. She's learning to work with me and eventually she'll do it for no food. She's learning the concept of paying attention to me is what you want to do. And see there, she checked out her environment. She was like, whatever. Even though I'm talking to the camera, she's like, looks around, but then she's like, hey, when she jumps on me, I just ignore her. And then I started working on collar grabs. Okay, so this is a dog I worked on actually this morning. We're in a very empty parking lot and I want you, it takes him like 2 minutes to find his brain. So this is the most boringest exercise in the world because you get to do nothing. He's been reinforced for looking around. There's nothing going on. So we're no longer rewarding looking at the environment. With some dogs, if they're reactive, I'll reward looking at the environment. But with dogs who are like this, not reactive, just totally immersed with their environment, I don't reward them. I just let them watch. And like I said, not the funnest thing in the world because you do nothing and the dog does nothing, but he's totally connected to the environment, not looking at his owner at all. And you just wait because I wanted to show you the whole 2 minutes to show you how long it was. There it is. All of a sudden he's like, okay, I'm good. I've let go of the environment. I've checked it out. It's all safe. I can now work with you. So he went back to looking at the environment and then right away he's back to the owner. And a lot of dogs are like this. As soon as you give them the minute, then they're like, oh, okay, I'm ready to work for you. So see, now he's like, whatever, we're ready to work for you. So being aware of how giving them that minute is what they need to connect. And then you have your dog. So if every time you set them up for success like that, you will keep getting that attention that you're looking for. Okay, so, oh, let me check. Kim, I am going to try to this when we go to agility, so they lose their minds getting out of the car. Kim, get to agility super early. It's hard because agility, if you have a young dog, I do this a pile before they learn to love agility, but agility is super exciting for a dog who already does agility. So you want to get there or go on a day where you don't have class, get out of the car and practice and then go home. So you're not always ending on, we're going to walk to the agility field. It's great. I have, eventually you have to stand outside the ring, right? Well, it's ODR. You stand quietly outside the ring, watching the agility go by and not reacting. That's all ODR. When I go out to work and exercise, I stand there, wait till they focus on me, and then we start to work. I'm not getting out there fighting with them to come back to me and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know how it goes. Let me see if I've missed any questions. No, I don't think I have. Okay, let me wrap it up. If you have any questions, oh, wait, between sheep herding and agility, as soon as we turn onto a dirt road. Yeah, my Siberian was like that. As soon as I hit a dirt road, he'd start crying. Yeah. With my last border collie, not Wicca, because she's just not that dog. I had to get, when he was young, I would get places 15, 20 minutes early and we would sit in the car till he stopped whining before we ever got out of the car. Which worked really well. He understood I'm not getting out of the car when, as an adult, like once he was 2, a year and a half, 2, we would get there and he was quiet instantly because he knew he was never getting out of the car until he was quiet. It's having that patience at the beginning, but yeah, it's so much easier to do it right at the beginning before they learn to love the sport instead of after the fact when they're already crazy and now you have to bring them down. Great. Let us know how it goes. Okay. Next week, I'm going to talk about voluntary attention when off leash. I have a new game. Actually, it's a game I've been doing for years, but all of a sudden I'm seeing all sorts of applications for it. The biggest one being voluntary attention off leash. I teach agility, and connection off leash is a big deal in agility, and a lot of people have a hard time with it. So I'm using this game all the time now in my classes. Jane, amazing advice. Thank you. Does Canine Reset work for 5-year-old? Yes. 5-year-old crazy English sheepdogs. Yes, it does, Jane. We can make it work for a 5-year-old English sheepdog. So if your dog keeps playing keep away or doesn't come when called, or you're having a hell of a time in the agility ring, but you want a dog that comes in all environments and always lets you catch them, and you go out to the agility ring and is like, what can I do for you? Join me next Friday at 10 a.m. for another segment on connection with your dog. That was going to be the last segment, but I think I'm going to take it to one more level and go, okay, how do you work the higher end skills playing this game? Join me next Friday. And don't forget, the hardest part of dog training is making sure you're on the right path. This starts with a training plan that works for you, your life, your dog, your goals. Send me a message if you want some help with this. Oh, Kim has Old Englishes too. Look at that. And somebody else called me this week with Old Englishes. Not a whole lot of Old English sheepdogs, and all of a sudden they're everywhere. They're so cute. Okay, guys, thank you so much for giving me time this morning. Go out, work the stuff, send me videos, send me comments. I love to hear from you, and we will see you guys all next week. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye.